Howdy, everybody.
What
All
up,
right,
Jonah?
doing well. Who am I speaking to?
Aiden,
Hey, what's up, Hayden?
what's up, man?
You know
How's
how
it
to,
going?
do you know how to split this?
All right, while everybody's piling in here, yo, dude, shout out to Cruz for having a $77,000 a week. Insane.
Damn.
Absolutely insane. Crushing. Carson, 45K. Shout out to Carson Whittemore. Richie Crayhall, I see Richie. Dude, Richie popped off 30K week. Richie's used to that. That ain't nothing for Richie. It's just another day. It's another day. Jake Rotterman at 30. Ryan Splits did another 30. The boys are buzzing. Ian did 20K. The boys are buzzing. All right. Is our guest is Jordan in here?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
What
Yeah,
up,
he's
dude?
here.
Awesome. Let's dive into it. So,
Wait,
you guys,
can I give a quick reminder to people?
yes, please.
March Madness, round three ends tonight. I got text after round two. Hey, why didn't I move forward from round two to round three? Because they didn't update their sales in the spreadsheet. So I will redrop the spreadsheet in the chat. If you don't update your sales, you don't get to move forward. So I don't want to get those text messages tomorrow morning getting asked, why didn't I move up to round four? Because you got to update your sales.
And we'll send out a text blast too, reminding everybody. But yes, have to upload into the spreadsheet for the sales to count. That is how we are tracking it. Um, and then what bracket are Claudia, and then drop the bracket increments and the dates. Because a few people asked me about that. They were confused.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, can you announce it?
Oh, I was just gonna drop it in the chat. Because I don't know it off the top of my head. One sec. Sorry, guys.
No worries. If you don't know it, no big deal. You
I
can always
don't.
announce it. All right. Well, look out in the chat. Claudia will drop it in the chat. Um, this is gonna be so let's go hard for that. Something I'm really excited about is we are going to be doing a 3-week series on recruiting. Production is up. The boys are buzzing. We looked at the numbers. Recruiting is down. So we definitely could be doing a better job bringing people into the opportunity. So, dude, I figured no better person than to have on than Jordan Lowery. Dude, if you guys, I got to take this moment to tee up Jordan because when I was a scrub getting into the insurance industry at 20 years old, got my license, I remember getting in and listening to Jordan Lowery on podcasts and be like, dude, one day I'm gonna have an agency doing 2 million a month. So Jordan, you're an absolute monster. What were you doing in the peak when you were building?
Um, yeah, peak 10 million a month.
10 million a month. Insane. How many agents did you have hit Hall of Fame in your agency? President's Club.
46 400K producers individually that I helped either recruit or train.
Let's go. How many people roughly did you personally recruit and bring in?
Oh, gosh. Probably probably over 1200.
Let's go. Let's go.
Probably
So,
1200 in 7 years.
and we recently, I'm really, really excited to announce this. So, we recently just brought Jordan on as our sales manager. So, he's going to be working in the trenches with a lot of our guys. I mean, he's been in our office just in the past week. He's been in our office. It's been huge. Just everybody learning from him. So, Jordan, I'm really excited, and no better person to kick us off on how to effectively recruit than somebody that's built a $10 million a month agency.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I'm honestly just excited to be partnered with you, be partnered with Pinnacle. You know, if you're taking notes, write this down. Right place, right time, right company. Because a lot about business when you go into recruiting, right? It's not about what you can do, but it's who you can do it with, right? So timing is every single thing in business. And we're at an opportunity here where at Pinnacle, the timing has never been better. So, a lot of times when you go to recruit, it's not about what you say, it's not about who you say it to, but it's about the timing in that person's life. So even if they say yes, even if they say no, it's a lot about timing in their life. So Write this down. The number one word in marketing. Write this down. Curiosity. Okay. Curiosity. Curiosity is the number one thing that you can do around content creation, recruiting, piquing people's interest. And where can you do these things, right? So for us, the modern day resume, Jonah, you're one of the best at it. Before we jump into the how to's, what to's, is social media. The modern day resume is social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, things like that. So, if you guys don't know where to recruit, you got to think about, where you're at every single day, and also things that you like to do for fun. If you're not recruiting, open your mouth and talk to people. Invite them to the office, invite them to go meet to the gym with you, and just say three simple words, or one simple phrase. You would kill it in what I do, and they're going to ask you, what do you do? So I think the biggest thing for us for new agents is create curiosity in the market and what you do, because people don't want to be, it's not about being the best at something, but if they're curious, you're going to grab their attention. So and everyone can do this in the morning. If you send out 15 messages a day, okay, 15 messages so 5 on LinkedIn, 5 on Instagram, and 5 on, TikTok. Okay. If you send 15 messages a day, 6 days a week, you're going to talk to 4,680 people in your first year. So if you do that, do you not think you're going to fall into recruiting 100 or 200? And that's only 15 a day. So who can commit to just sending 15 messages a day? 5 on Instagram, 5 on TikTok, 5 on LinkedIn. You're going to talk to 4,680 people over the course of a year. Does that make sense?
I love that. Jordan, one of my goals, I got a few goals for this call, but the first goal is I just want to give people, because they hear these numbers, they're like, wow, that's amazing. Dude, I'm just trying to find my starting 5. I'm just trying to get 20 people in my group. So let's start out first of all with warm market. I want to give people specific, tangible action items and track words they can use to like approaching the work. Because a lot of people want to recruit. They're like, dude, I just don't know how to phrase that conversation, or I don't want to come across as a weirdo. So how do I do it? So let's say that I'm your buddy from college, and I'm in your warm market. You're calling me to recruit me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're down, let's
Cool.
just play that and see what
Yeah.
that looks like.
Hey, what's up, Jonah? This may or may not be for you. You always want to start that out. So just like selling, you want to reduce the pressure. This may or may not be for you, but I just got started selling insurance. I'm doing incredibly well. I wrote 6K yesterday. I did 20K last week in revenue. I'm brand new. I don't know a whole lot, but if you're open to an opportunity, I can send you a little bit more information. Are you recruitable?
Are you recruitable? Boom.
Because I want to know, and it may or may not be for you, and it may or may not be right now, but I want to know, are you recruitable? And then if I'm out, if I'm out to dinner, do you see yourself? So I say, hey
Oh,
man,
well, let's slow
go
down.
ahead. Go ahead. You're muted. I lost you, brother.
Oh, so I don't know. This thing keeps muting. So let's stay in that setting of you're calling me, and I want to throw you a few objections and kind of see how you handle it. So you ask me, am I recruitable? I'll say, well, what do you got for me?
Yeah, so like I said, I don't have all the information, but I got what I do know is I'm helping people with life insurance. I'm a broker, so what's really cool about that is I get to help families, grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, moms and dads fit a specific need to their situation. The average appointment takes about 20 to 30 minutes on the phone, and the average commission is $500 to $1,000 per appointment. There's no limit of appointments you can do a day. So some people are making $500 a day, and some are making $5,000 to $10,000 a day. But there's no limit. And I thought of you because you're such a go getter.
I looked into life insurance. Yeah, people have tried to recruit me in the past to life insurance. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing is being independent and being a broker. You work for yourself, so it's really a business owner mindset. But what I found with the company that I'm working with directly is they have warm mortgage protection buyer leads. So it's not cold calling or calling people out of a phone book, and you don't have to make a list of a bunch of people and sell them policies. There's top comp. We have the best carriers in the industry, but also the best leadership in the industry. And last thing, the most important to me, Jonah, is it's a regulated industry. So there's not like you might get paid. It's actually there's a contractual agreement for your commissions. So if you bring in X amount of dollars, they're going to pay you X amount. You can actually do the math. It's not like you might get paid or the compensation will change. These are 100 and 150, 160-year-old companies. So I agree. There's a bunch of insurance companies that I wouldn't do either. But when you're independent, so I don't really get a lot of rebuttals because when I'm recruiting, it's like attraction. I only want to work with someone that's easy to work with, and that's the number one word in recruiting is curiosity, and you want to attract the people to you. The goal in business isn't to do business with everyone; it's to do business with like-minded individuals.
Yep. That's really good. And so I hope everybody got that. If you didn't, drop an emoji or drop something in the chat, and I can have Jordan repeat that. But my first thing is, all right, how to approach warm market. And then once your warm market's tapped, and then you go to cold. One way that doesn't fail, social media is the largest scale platform, and that's where I've built my business. Dude, one thing I've been making a much more conscious effort of, especially since we've been here in Tampa, is just the guerrilla marketing, where every single person on this call, I don't care if you have one follower or 10,000 followers on social media, everybody can do guerrilla marketing. And all that is just simply recruiting people you run into on a daily basis. Like, dude, you look at Ronnie's entire team. It's just basically guys he met in the gym. So he built an entire sales team. And he's got Docs, Cruz, Ian, all those guys, Carson. So when we were like, for example, yesterday, I was on the phone with Chase Lucas. I'm talking to Chase Lucas, and I see the Uber Eats delivery driver pulls up, and he's this young kid, and I'm like, "Hey Chase, give me 1 sec." And I'm on the phone with Chase. Chase listens to me recruit this guy. Took me it's like 10-minute conversation. He was just gonna drop it off in the lobby and leave. I brought him in the office. He's like, "Dude, this is sick." Showed him the leaderboard. He's like, "That's how much y'all are making." He's like, "This is wild." He's like, "Where
Like,
do?"
this is
He's
crazy.
like, "Dude, where do I sign up?" And you hear those stories about somebody that was working because I related with him. I'm like, dude, before I got my insurance license, this is what I was doing. I was in your same exact shoes. And he's like, really? I was
Mm.
like, yeah. And so I set the expectation, went over the pros and the cons, and then we set up. He's gonna come back in for an interview. We scheduled a formal interview, and just like that, dude, we were at dinner last Friday. We went to Sunduff for sushi. You're talking to one of the hosts. You're recruiting that guy. And so one thing that we need to have the mindset of is just always be talking to people and always be recruiting. So what are a few track words people, because I feel like there's that, it's kind of like going up to a girl in the bar, like you just don't want to get rejected. There's a little bit of social anxiety. How do you approach those type of situations?
So yeah, so those situations is it's just like dialing the phone. You have to understand you're going to suck when you start, and you have to. So two things, right? So curiosity is going to allow you to attract people into your business. So like things that I like to post is like you're never going to believe what I was able to do today. I was able to make $1,000 in commissions from my phone, or I was able to make X amount of dollars of commissions. I was able to help a family from the beach, or I was able to help while I had my baby. I was at home. So you were never gonna believe what I was able to do, like something like that. You should be posting your client wins. If you help a family get $50,000 in whole life, or $200,000 is helped Miss Betty secure $200,000 for her family, made a quick $500 for my family. You're never gonna just creating that closed loop, open loop. So I think track words though, like don't overcomplicate this. If you're brand new, okay, write this down. If you're brand new, you don't know how to recruit, okay? Your first goal should be to get a starting five. Well, how do you get a starting five if you haven't closed, 50K a month, if you're not in the 40K club, if you're not in the 30K club? So you have to help five people do what you've done faster. So if you're just barely set 10 appointments and it took you 3 weeks to get your license, your goal is to help five people get their insurance license and pass their test one day faster than you did. So if it took you 3 weeks, help them do it in 2 weeks and 6 days. Help 5 people get their license and start booking appointments. That should be your number one goal, is to help 5 people do what you did faster than you did. And you don't have to be an expert. So you want to have a credibility triangle. So at the top is, or let's put you in the bottom left, your prospect in the bottom right, and then at the third triangle, you're either going to use a person, so that can be Jonah, that can be Claudia, that can be Chase, that can be Nick, that can be, someone in your upline or your direct manager, or that can be a tool. So what's a good tool is you can use the Prosper YouTube page. You can use something from Summit. You can use something from Pinnacle. You can use something from Joe and Gabe. So the goal is to use this credibility triangle, so where you don't have to be the magic, but you push them to a tool, and you say, once you go over this, follow up with me right away and let me know what you liked best. Not what did you think about it, not how did you like it, like what did you like best? And what are they looking for? So that would be my biggest thing, is like, help them obtain a license and do what you did, but faster than you did. If you've sold 5 policies, help them sell 5 policies faster than you did. Jay, you're muted.
Muted.
Gosh, I need to figure this mic keeps muting on me. It's super sensitive and there's no way to fix it. Anyway, if I could add to that as well, you guys need to, if you guys on this call are new and you haven't done a $20,000 a week yet, or I'm sorry, $20,000 a month yet, don't even think about recruiting, because you can only help somebody get to the level of success that you've achieved, and your team will never outperform your level of belief. And so if your belief is low, it's called your belief lid. And so when you're new, it's like you can't put your oxygen mask on first and then help somebody else. Where this is not an MLM. It's not just, oh, recruit a bunch of people, plug them in, you'll make money. No, we're building an actual business here. And in order to build an actual business, you got to have a set blueprint, and you got to have credibility and leverage in order to help those people get to the level of success that you've achieved. So step number one, figure out how to write life insurance. Okay. Figure out how to write life insurance, get confident. It should pay at least a $20K month on your own personal pen. Once you do that, then start bringing other people in and help them get to that level. And like Jordan said, even better, leverage other people. The beautiful part about this business, it's not all on you. So I might be, if Jordan's really good at something and I'm not, I'm going to leverage Jordan and, maybe have Jordan, talk to them, or, leverage Chase or Isaac or, the other people, Gage, the other people that we have a part of our business, where you're able to leverage other people and use those success stories and testimonials. And that's the beautiful part about being in an office together, where you're in that environment. So I feel like a lot of people they either make the mistake of, you don't want to recruit too soon. You also don't want to have the mindset of, oh, well, I need to have everything figured out. I need to have all the systems built. And I need to have it's like, dude, you're never going to feel fully qualified. You just got to do enough to have the credibility and the track record, and then bring people in. And the good news about it is, like, I've talked to people where they're like, yeah, I need to wait until I'm doing 40 to 60K a month, at least 3 months in order to start recruiting. I'm just like, dude, no, because the truth is, and for me, when I didn't really start popping off with monster months until I started recruiting and bringing people in, because it wasn't a question of, oh, like, if it's just you, it's like, oh, I could leave a little bit early, show up a little bit late. Do I want to go hard today? Do I not? But when you have people you're responsible for and people you're training, it's, oh, wow, like, I got to perform because now I have all these people looking up to me.
Yeah. So I would say expose one person a day that doesn't know about Pinnacle and doesn't know about Prosper and doesn't know about your agency. Is recruit one person a day. If you don't expose anything less than one is zero. If you want to be a zero, then do nothing, but just expose one person a day to the business, 7 people a week, 28 a month, and you're going to naturally build a business. And you're going to start recruiting, and that's true. Like, you need to be able to at least sell 5K a week, 20K a month to be able to show them what to do. But at the end of the day, don't prejudge other people's, don't prejudge how good other people are going to do based on your lack of your lack of focus, and your lack of discipline, and your ability to invest in yourself, because there might be someone out there ready to pop off, and you don't want to withhold the opportunity just because you're lazy or you don't dial. Like, you can't prejudge someone else exploding. Like, imagine I didn't, I mean, I've recruited so many people way better than me. So that being said, I saw Chase's. Isabel, I think you're unmuted. I got it. Chase, I saw your question. So to get to 100K a month was super quick, man. It took me, I started recruiting in my third month in the business. Usually like 6 to 7 months to get to 100K. I mean, 100K is roughly you and 5 guys, you and 6 guys. 500K a month was about a year and a half in. And then to get to 2 million a month, it was roughly like 180 to 200 agents. So I want to say roughly it took me about 3 years. But the thing is when your agency gets so big, you have so many people recruiting. I wouldn't focus on anything over that. I would focus on getting to 100 writing agents. Okay, you personally recruit 20 who do 20K, and you're going to be really, really happy. And if you need to recruit 100 guys who 80 don't do 20K and the other 20 do the 20K, don't worry about that. But there's a numbers game. This is a lot like a deck of cards. There's 52 cards in a deck, right? There's 52 cards in a deck, and you don't know who's going to be really good. So you might recruit your first 11 people, and you might get a 7, and you might get a 5, and you might get a 4, and then you might get a 7, and then you might get a 4, and you might get a 9, then you might get a jack, and then you might recruit a king, right? And then you might recruit a jack, and then you might recruit a 6, and you might recruit a 4, and then you might recruit an ace. But you don't know. It's like 50. You just never know. You just never know who's going to be the next person to pop off, build a business, has a big network, and who's going to know people who are in solar, pest, life insurance sales, have a license. So I wouldn't prejudge. I would just absolutely start selling, start building, and just focus on writing your policies and helping other people do what you've done faster, and then connect them to your agency or your manager. And then also, sorry, write this down. This business is built event to event. Okay. So whether that's the next lock-in, the next training, whatever the event that's coming up from a corporate standpoint, or your agency, sales, blitz, or the contest, whatever's coming up, this business is built event to event and contest to contest. So if you're not bringing people with you, or you're not inviting people to be number one on the event, then like a summit or a sales training, this business is built. If you get people to a Dallas lock-in or a Phoenix or a Scottsdale event, not only are they going to have a record sales week, but their belief's going to be through the roof. And guess what? They're going to be earning, they're going to be learning, and they're going to be growing their agency without you. They're going to be independent. So that's what you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And I really like what you said, Jordan, about a lot of people sell themselves short where they know the numbers they need to hit personal production. And then they're just selling themselves short. They're like, well, I did good. I recruited somebody this week. They're going to work out. I recruited 2 people this month. It's like, you're never going to grow a big business that way. So your sales organization will never outperform your level of belief. And a lot of people just sell themselves short where it's like, dude, like you said, 100K, you got there really quick. 500K a month, you got there quick because you just had such a high belief level in your business and your ability and to bring people in. So that portrays to the people within your organization.
Yeah, and I was out driving around selling. Like, I wasn't going to come home until I made 2 or 3 sales. Like, I remember when I first started in the business, I had 5 guys living with me. I rented a house. I had 4 guys move in. We had everyone in the house. I was always the first one out the door. I was always the last one in the door. It was dark. I'd come home and they'd be celebrating my wins. They'd be celebrating with me. I was the one keeping them going. And soon enough, this business is more caught than taught. Eventually they started making sales. They started growing. They started recruiting. People would knock on our doors to sell us Comcast. They'd sell us anything. And I had one of my boys chase the guy down the street. I'd be like, bro, why didn't you recruit him? Like, he's literally out here in 100-degree Dallas heat. And we're sitting in here dialing the phone and air conditioning, setting appointments, and you didn't recruit him. And so I made him chase him 10 doors down. He ended up recruiting him. He ended up being a huge piece of our business, and so I recruited his mom, recruited his entire family. And so, you never know who's going to blow up your business, so that's what I would say.
Dude, I just had a guy knock my door last Friday. It's funny, Claudia was I didn't even know she did it, but she got the thing on our ring cam and she recorded it. So I don't know if you can drop the recording Claudes, but it was hilarious. I had a door-to-door guy tried to sell me a security system and ended up same thing, just recruited him into the business. So you're never gonna know who you run into. And I guarantee you every single person on this call in public, like you are if you like think about every person you talk to, this could be the next $40,000 a month producer on your team. And you just have opportunities slipping through your fingertips.
Hmm. Mm. You have to become capable of selling because it gives you credibility. That's the thing. You got to be able to sell because it gives you credibility and focus on the things that make you money, marketing. You have to be an incredible marketer. You got to be the biggest brand of yourself. Like that's one thing I take from you. Like you're such a you're creating your own brand, Prosper, Jonah, like you're creating a brand and you're not scared of what anyone thinks about you.
Yep. Jordan, I really like what your 3-3 analogy. You went over that at Summit. For those that didn't hear, what is that?
Yeah, so 3 by 3 by 3. So when you get started, you got to have three people that you're helping, that you're bringing up in the business. So this can be you're helping three people. If your biggest week is 10K, right? If your biggest week ever is 10K, you have three people. You've identified them, you've written them down, you have their names, and you're helping three people get to the level that you're at, whether that's your biggest week, whether that's their biggest dial day, you're helping them get to that. And this is every week. You're helping three people do something that they've never done as good as you have. And then the second three is three people that you're competing with. Okay. These are three people either in your office. These are three people that are a part of the Pinnacle business, or three people that you're challenging and competing with. So that's, issue paid, not submitted numbers. That's issue paid numbers. That's new contracted agents for the week. And then it can be, new recruits as well. Okay. So these are three people you're competing with that where they're, in a similar, skill set to you and you're competing. And then you need to have three people that you look up to in business that you want to have the business and lifestyle that they've created. So whether that's their P&L or their EBITDA, like, you want to have, and those people you need to come to on like a checklist and say like here's my numbers, like they're three mentors, three people that you can, you know this is a rip off and duplicate business. You just rip off and duplicate what someone's done over 2 and 3 and 4 years. Like it's not a difficult business. If you do exactly what someone does for 36 to 48 months, you're going to get a similar result if you put the staff in place and things like that. So three people you're bringing up, three people you're competing with, and three people that you are ripping off and duplicating your business to be identical.
Yaya asked a good question. He said, if somebody's at a 70% with zero experience and their strength is team building and they start recruiting others immediately, how does that work when everyone's starting at the same time and the same level? So what I would do typically is I'll just tell them, hey, if you can bring in a couple people that are studs, I'll interview them. If we hire them, I'll bump you to a 75 and we'll put them under you. Just have the ability to put them under them and then just train everybody at the same time. That's typically how I've done it.
It's a case by case basis, but just get it, and then or also, hey, go sell 10 policies and earn your comp bump.
I mean, here's the thing, because the company we came from, Jordan, you had to you had to do 2 months in a row of the same amount of production in order to get a bump. With the good thing of Pinnacle, dude, you only got to do that 1 month in a row. So it's like if you can't sell 10 grand in a month, I don't know if you deserve to have downlines, to be honest with you. That's just me being nice. It's like it's not that hard.
Yeah, if you really want it, you'll get it. You'd be in the office, you'd ask for help. Like if someone really wants to earn that 10 to write 10 policies, you can do that in about 3 days.
Yep. Yep. Jordan, let me ask you, what are some mistakes you've made when it comes to building teams?
Biggest mistakes are probably, just looking for probably just like recruiting anybody, not vetting them, not watching their business. Just thinking like, hey, just get them in contracting, not hiring staff soon enough, not managing it, proper expectations. Like the thing is, if you want to do really well, you should tell them how hard it's going to be, tell them the challenges. You want people who think it's going to be really, really hard than really, really easy. Like Austin said, you can't sell the dream if you're living a nightmare. we are living the dream. Like we get to sit in the air conditioning, but it's not easy, right? There's going to be challenges. So, I would say like one thing that really helped me that exploded my recruiting was understanding Jonah, like, hey man, like, hey, I'm really interested in bringing you onto the team, but I just want to understand a little bit about your background and where you've been. So the last, 10 years, you said you've been working really hard. What's the most amount of money you've made like on a tax form?
200 grand.
Okay, 200 grand. And was that self-employed income or was that ownership or was that as a working as an employee?
Working as an employee.
Okay, perfect. And so, other than that, had you had any six-figure years outside of being an employee, or that's pretty much been your working history?
It's been my working history.
Okay. So it sounds like you're fairly successful. I'm not sure if you're the most successful person in your family, but I guess, what do you love about what you're doing there, but also what's missing?
Well, they got me doing underwater welding on these oil rigs, so it's pretty labor intensive.
Hmm, that makes sense. So, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not necessarily looking to make, I mean, obviously it'd be nice if you made $1 million, but if you could replace that 200K income or that same income, but be in an air conditioning office working from your phone, that's kind of what's missing in your sense, the
Yes.
labor. Okay. So I think, for each person, you got to figure out what it is for them, but I've made so many mistakes. Like if you want to know who's recruited and had big agencies, it's just because they've recruited tons of people that didn't work out. I've been told no probably close to 9 to 10,000 times,
And who
maybe
cares?
more. Yeah, maybe
Who
more.
who cares? Yeah.
Hey,
They're not
hey,
a
I
good
was
fit.
told a lot. I was told no a lot too when, like, my dating career, eventually I got married. So, hey, eventually God found me the right path. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I the it's similar to a client where what I'm taking away from how Jordan is talking is he's not getting on the call. He's like, dude, this is really sick and you're gonna make all this money. And no, he's very calm. He's just talking to them like a normal person. And the one thing I always say is the more traditional interview style you can keep it, the better. They need to be selling you on why they would be a good fit. I've never gotten on a recruiting call and pitched somebody. You're never going to see me doing that. It's doing exactly what Jordan's doing, asking questions, figuring out their pain points, what are they looking for, and seeing if it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I'll be the first to tell them, hey, dude, listen, like we're looking for full-time guys that have the ability to put in 60 hours a week into this. Sounds like based on where you're at, you're probably not a good fit, but hey, dude, no worries. Reach out in the future if anything changes. Boom.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. My first company, so this is my third insurance company. I worked for one insurance company for a year, another for 8 years in IMO, and then I've been over here for about 50 or 60 days, something like that. But write this down. A recruit is not a recruit until they have a recruit. Okay. So what I would always meant by that is if you can bring people in and say, hey, look, who do you know who would also be good at this opportunity? If you want your business to get to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, you need a lot of people working in bringing people into you, to Jonah, to the agency owner. Okay. So a clear onboarding and training path for these people is getting them onboarded quick, getting them licensed quick, and getting them into the company trainings, getting them onto the Wednesday call, getting them onto the Monday calls, showing them that they're part of the community, getting them plugged into Discord, and then they're going to get through their licensing a lot quicker because they're part of the community. Invite them to the next event. If I invite someone to a training or an event and they don't show up, they're probably not going to do very good at this business. If you can't even drive your butt to the office or drive to an event, oh, I'm busy. Dude, I'm really freaking busy too, dude. Everyone's busy. You either want this or you don't. So give them a schedule, give them an opportunity, give them next steps, and see if they do the steps.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to open this up for questions. Unless you have anything more you want to add, I want to make this more of an interactive call and kind of hear where you guys are at and any questions you have for Jordan and the experience he has in the industry. So feel free to unmute or drop your questions in the chat.
Hey Jordan,
Yo, yo.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. You probably answered this question, but I was on the phone with the carrier. Um, if someone is at 70% with zero experience, but their strength is team building and they start recruiting others immediately, how does that work when everyone's starting at the same time at the same level?
Yeah. Did you hear Jonah answer or no?
No, no, I was probably on the call with the carrier.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Jonah had said he had said depending on the situation. So like let's say it was you, Yaya. I would say, hey bro, let's bring in these 5 guys. Let's get them started really, really fast. But let's earn you your comp bump. So over these next 3 days, let's issue 3 policies a day for 3 days straight, and let's earn you your comp bump this week.
Got it.
Now, there can be certain it's a case by case basis. So if someone brings in 5 or 10 studs, I'm not gonna, dude, I'm in the business of helping people. I'm not here because I need to pay my car payment, my mortgage payment. Like, so at the end of the day, we're gonna figure out a way to get it done. Like we're gonna, at the end, we're probably gonna, if you bring in 10, we'll give you a 5% bump, maybe potentially. But at the end of the day, dude, let's sit down, let's dial together, and let's help you earn your 10K. Let's earn your 10K in premium. Dude, if you can't
Got
do
it.
10K in premium in 30 days, we're talking, if you just get 20 people who pay $40 a month, $38 a month, I could go do that at the mall.
Gotcha.
So you can either get 10 who do $80 a month, or you can get 20 who do $38 a month. What do you think's easier? Or if you want to do one who does $800 a month, it's not that deep.
Right. Got it. So give him the right to earn it for that comp and then put them underneath. Gotcha.
Yeah, but if they're going to bring in 10 people and bring in some studs, train them all together, we'll probably work out a deal. Like it's a case by case basis. So
Got it.
absolutely. Richie said, when you identify leaders, what are some things you do to develop them? Well, we're in the business of growing people. I think spending quality time, I think spending quality time with them, like, in the office, showing them how to recruit, developing them. You can only develop someone to the limit they want to be developed. You can send someone all the trainings in the world. So I think, things I've done in the past is just like helped people start to hire staff if they've never hired staff, set up payroll for the first time, making sure they're structured appropriately, making sure they're investing the right amounts of money, helping them get crazy um efficient and become independent, because you can't do it right. It takes a while to help someone, grow themselves to that standpoint. So helping them throw their first event or lock in without sometimes the fastest way you can grow someone is stepping out of the way completely,
Yeah.
letting them fall on their face and fail.
If I could add to that, you don't want to be the bottleneck of your organization. And you guys think Joe Basso is calling me every day, every week, like checking it? Like, no, dude. Joe Basso is really good at getting out of the way and letting me build my business. And one thing that's really helped me in the past is raising people's belief lids, where just in our one-on-ones, just having that conversation where once they're producing, once they're doing really well, having that conversation where, hey brother, you're a leader. You should really start building. Like you're undervaluing yourself. Having that type of conversation, because a lot of people just need that extra push. They need someone to believe in them. So if you can be that person for them and help raise their belief lid, that's a lot of times that's all they need, is that they just need that extra push. And you want to be ahead of them to be able to get them to where you are, but not so ahead of them where you can't help them. So it's just like giving them little breadcrumbs of like where they're at, and giving them little action steps every week to get them closer to their goals and where they want to be. And that's the biggest thing, is figure out what your agent's goals are, because your agent's goals are probably not the same goals that you have. So I
Wow.
have an ongoing list, notes in my phone, of different, like when I'm having a conversation with somebody, even if it's somebody at another office or somebody that maybe I might not talk to for another month from now, like I write down and I have a list. So like I know their goals, I know where they're at. So when I have that next conversation with them, I check in on them. And for you, those of you that are taking notes, write this down. This is Eddie Wilson. Eddie Wilson told me this. He said, there's only 4 motivators of people. They're either motivated by time, the ability to get their money, get their time back, money, significance, significance or purpose, and status. That's it. Time, money, significance, status. That's it. So figure out what is this individual motivated by, and then help them see that of like, all right, if I can help you do this, then you'll be here, and really paint that picture for them. As leaders, like we need to be constantly casting the vision for our people.
I love that, man. That's strong. That's strong.
What other questions we got? Joe Turner said, what are common mistakes you see made when recruiting and developing a large amount of agents in a small time frame? That's a good question.
Well, that's a dang good problem to have, Joe. That's a really good problem to have. It's like, man, I wrote 70K last week, but I got 6,000 in chargebacks. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to write some damn more business, baby. A common mistake I see mostly is, thinking that every single person's going to stick, thinking that every single person's going to is prejudging, like, oh, this person's so talented, they're going to do so good. What you think is, Paul says this all the time, what you think is, isn't, what you think isn't, is. You never know, like someone who you can't tell someone's heart and fight. So what a common mistake is prejudging. Um, there's never been a better freaking time to be self-employed, dude. Never been. Entrepreneurship's at an all-time high, but in this business, in a regulated industry where you have to go get a license and you can work in other states, dude, you can actually own something. You can own something. You can actually own an entity in an LLC. So, a common mistake is people don't take it seriously enough and hire staff and build and put the money back in the business for the first 2 or 3 years. Just invest it all back and just grow the top line revenue.
And I think a lot of people make the mistake of doing low income activities. Everybody in this call needs to read the book Buy Back Your Time. Phenomenal book.
Dude, your thing about grocery shopping, that was great. You're like, you ever seen someone worth a lot of money doing their own grocery shopping? Like, no.
Dude, people think I'm just trying to just clickbait people or clown on them or bait rage. I partly am, but like I'm being like I'm for real, dude. I've never seen a wealthy person at the grocery store. They don't have time. Ever like that just that simple thing changed the game for us. And I've been doing that for the past 4 years now. And over the course of the past 4 years of not just one simple thing of not having to go to the grocery store has made me tens and tens of thousands of dollars. So think about what are the low income tasks that I'm doing within my, and here's the thing, dude, it's the same price. Like I'm not having to pay any extra to get it delivered to my door, Amazon Fresh. It's like simple. So what are the low income tasks I'm doing? Every single person on this call, if you guys are doing 30K a month or above issue paid, you should have a personal assistant 100% to pick up your dry cleaning, clean your house, do your laundry, take care of your pending requirements, all of these low tedious task things, pay somebody else to do because your time, like every single person on this call, I don't care if you're brand new, your time is worth at least $50 an hour. So if you're doing something like people think like, oh, like instead of hire, I'll use an example like meal prep. Instead of hiring a meal prep company and ordering my meal preps once a week, I'm just going to spend time cooking and I'm going to be able to save money where it's like really how much time are you spending a week on even on a Sunday? 3-4 hours on your Sunday that you spent meal prepping when you could have spent that time preparing, prioritizing your personal development, reading, or just recharging for the week to have a more productive week and be able to really go in and attack Monday. And so all of these low leverage things, it's people think that they're saving money, but you're never going to build a big business with a scarcity mindset. And so if it's a task that is below $50 an hour, it's actually cheaper to hire somebody or pay somebody or outsource to do that task than to do that task yourself. So doing these low leverage tasks that cost money, it's expensive.
Awesome. I love that. Real quick, I want to drop a quick can I give him a little teaser?
Yes, definitely.
All right, cool. So drop an emoji or anything in the chat if you want to get paid extra money for doing something that's going to make you more money. Drop something in the chat. All right, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So something that's going to make you money long term. It's going to build your business. It's going to do that. So I'm not going to give you all the details yet. I'm not going to give you all the details yet, but let's just say that in April, sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to drop a recruiting contest for every single agent in Prosper. And I just want to give you a little bit of teaser. There's gonna be bonus points for getting new agents writing. There's gonna be bonus points for getting people through a contract. There's gonna be we haven't committed exactly on the amount, but let's just say there'll be a comma in it. And there's gonna be two divisions. So either
$100,000. Just kidding.
$100,000. So if you're over 9 months, will be a division. That'll be kind of like the Prosper slash Championship division. And then if you're new to the agency, so you're within your first 9 months in the business, you haven't started getting your back end renewals, you'll be in the rookie division, and you'll have an equal opportunity to win the championship or win the recruiting challenge. So start thinking of people, getting them in your pipeline, and it's exciting. We're going to be giving away money to help you make money.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, March Madness is this month, so this is going to be next month's incentive. And shout out to Jordan for coming up with this. It was Jordan's idea. Can take the credit, but I was just thinking about we've done literally hundreds and hundreds of incentives, prizes, giveaways for production. We've never done anything for recruiting. So I'm really excited about this. Guys, drop another emoji in the chat if you're stoked and you're going to win this competition. Let's go. Let's go. So, all right, well, we're going on about 50 minutes here. Jordan, close us out.
Yeah, I'll just close you out by giving you 4 places that you can start recruiting today, and that you can write these down. You can go after these types of people. Okay, so obviously you got your unlicensed agents. You're gonna go for this. I want you all to get to 100,000 or die, like Richie just said. You and 10 agents, you're gonna earn the more money than you want. So here's 4 places. Here's 4 places you guys can earn more money. Okay, write these down. Those are probably the 7 best places you can recruit from, where I've seen the biggest killers come that don't just sell a ton of insurance, but they recruit and bring teams with them. So if you're going to recruit someone, you want to bring them and have them bring 5 or 10 people with you. Go recruit from those groups. Those are the best places you can recruit from. If you want to know what to say, how to say it, you can text me. You can get me on Instagram, jordan.lowery777. And I'm happy to help you guys build anytime, Monday through Saturday, 8 to 8, and Sundays, if it's an absolute emergency, I'll jump on with you guys. So let's grow this thing. Let's get to 10 million quick for Prosper. Let's be the #1 agency, and let's put some distance between us and everybody else.
Let's go. Let's go. Drop some love for Jordan in the chat if you took value from this call. Last thing, guys, don't forget March Madness. Let's go all out. We're giving away some great prizes for that. And then secondly, next week, we're going to be going more in depth, and I'm going to be going over like the exact scripts, SOP frameworks on social media recruiting specifically. So definitely tune in for next week, guys. Let's have an absolutely massive week. Reach out if you need anything. God bless.